back in 05 when it really kicked off. I loved Ben 10 as a kid. It was so good. But a reboot happened, and at first I didn't really like it. I was quite bummed out, and I was upset that kids of this generation would grow up with this Ben 10 and not the old one. But this new film came out, Ben 10 versus the Universe, and I thought, hey, why not give it a shot? So after watching it, I thought there's only one thing there to do. Let's give this a review. I'm aware this is the Alien Force Morpher, but I'm sorry, I've got to intervene. Did I just called that a morpher. I do apologise. What the fuck is wrong with me? So Ben 10 versus the Universe is a brand new Ben 10, you know, it's pretty much a Ben 10 episode, but it's feature length. And you know what? Like I said, I hated this reboot when it first came out. Stinkfly, what have they done? But as they've developed, you know, there was some pretty cool concept. There was a whole thing where Upgrade gets trapped in the Omnitrix and sacrifices himself. But then you get these Omni-enhanced people. And then there was like these, you got like ultimate, like not ultimate modes. You know, like how Ben 10 used to have his ultimate modes. Like they have like armored modes. And now they're bringing Alien Force aliens into Ben 10 when he was a kid. So he has Humongousaur, he has Jet Ray, he has Wrath. And then, yeah, my biggest issue was some of the heroes like Ripjaws and Wildmat that he didn't have originally. But spoiler alert, they appeared in this film, which is awesome. This is from the perspective of a guy who pretty much has not watched the new reboot. I know of his aliens, I know that Vilgax was a Ben 10 alien first, and then like actual Vilgax harnessed that power to be who he is. I know that Upgrade got trapped in the watch. I know the basic stuff. There's this guy called Phil, right? And he's like an old friend of Max's. I don't know if he's a plumber. I don't know if plumbers exist in this universe yet. I don't know if they've said that Max is a plumber, but he's an old friend of Grandpa Max, and he basically helps them. He's basically like the guy in the chair. He's the guy at command, and he like tells them whenever there's like an issue. For starters, this film starts off with Ben 10 as Heat Blast fighting this guy, and like I just thought that was a little homage to Ben 10 Race Against Time, because like even though the first alien Ben 10 ever turns into is Heat Blast, in Race Against Time it starts off with Heat Blast, and he's kind of just like, oh yep, yada yada yada, we're gonna fight you, blah blah blah, we're gonna introduce ourselves as big menacing people. But anyway, I'm Heat Blast, and then he throws the fireball. I'm not even ashamed that I know that. Ben 10 Race Against Time slaps. But yeah, that's pretty much how this film starts, and I thought that was really cool. He's just kind of like, yo, no, this is. But I mean, I'm assuming you even have some henchmen running up behind me right now, and then he just like blasts some. So that was kind of cool. So I found out from this film as well that there's different stages of the Omnitrix. So obviously there was the Omni Enhanced, there was the armor mode. So apparently like there's different stages of the Omnitrix he can unlock, which is pretty cool. I guess that was always a thing, but obviously he never had this armor mode before. There was a really cool Superman reference where he becomes Jet Ray, and then he gets like an armor suit, and there's like rockets at the bottom. So as he's taking off, like there's rocks on the ground that start to like shake. Like that was pretty cool. There's a bit of a switcheroo. Vilgax lands on Earth. And is like really big. He kind of looked like the original Vilgax, which is pretty cool. And then Ben 10 gets yeeted into space with Jet Ray. But obviously, as we all know, the Omnitrix will do anything to keep Ben alive. The Omnitrix will not let Ben die. So it creates like a really cool like spacesuit, and there's like an Iron Man head inside, which you can tell this new kind of the new Omniverse, this new reboot, it's kind of trying to appeal to like modern audiences. Obviously it's not going to start to appeal to people from the past, even though, you know, there's definitely, you know, adding like the Alien Force aliens is definitely like an homage. But yeah, you know, they're trying to see, you know, Iron Man's popular, you know, these iron suits and stuff, like they're definitely trying to go that route. Kevin Levin returns back to Earth and with the Anti-Trix. Now I know about the Anti-Trix. Basically Kevin had this dream, which we later find out that Vilgax implanted that into his head, but we'll get back to that. Kevin has this dream to make an Omnitrix, so he does, and then he has like an Anti-Trix. So he has all of Ben's aliens, but like instead of like forearms, he has the exact same, but he calls him like Quad Smack or something like that. And it's basically like a red Omnitrix, kind of like Albedo. I don't know if Albedo's in this version. He may be. I don't think so. Tetrax showed up. I know he was in this version, but he only has one arm, so I'm assuming there was like an episode where like he got de-armed, but yeah, he never takes the visor off, so you never see like the diamond head form. There was this one line, basically they try and like chase down Tetrax because like everyone thinks that Ben is Vilgax, and Vilgax has just used the Omnitrix to transform, and Tetrax is like, yeah, no, it's definitely him. They find out it isn't. So then Tetrax escapes, and there's this line by this frog dude who he literally goes something like, oh, you know, we can never catch the bounty, like something like we can never catch that bounty hunter, or we can never catch him or something. And then he bare just looks at the camera and goes, maybe in the next reboot. And I just, it's, I mean, yeah, sure. I was never under the impression that they were still searching for Tetrax in the original version, but I mean, I'm glad that they kind of, even though it was a fourth wall break, they kind of was like, yep, there was a version before this. So Ben gets sentenced to a lifetime in the Null Void because they think he's Vilgax. And this is where he meets these new aliens that are against him. So there's, obviously these aren't their names, but this is the species like they're based off. Ripjaws, Wildmutt, Ghost Freak, and Eye Guy. And Ben Wolf. I forgot about Ben Wolf. Eye Guy's there. Now, what is it about Eye Guy, like, his like only appearances being in specials? Or like at least his first appearances, because Eye Guy in the original show was in the Secrets. Was it the Secrets of the Omnitrix? It was one of the movies, but then he just never showed up again. That was a weird one. But yeah, here he is showing up again in this new movie. Obviously it's the Null Void. There's no water, so Ripjaws has this really cool like water suit. It's kind of, I guess, kind of similar to what that plumber had in Ben 10 Alien Force. You know, the guy right in the first episode. But it's more of like just like oxygenated, not oxygenated, but like tubes that go into his neck and his back into like this pack, which is like just flushing him out with water. And that was a cool addition because obviously, like I said, there's no water in the Null Void. Azimuth's in the Null Void. You know, from the second Ben was getting messages on his Omnitrix saying, "Oh yeah, I'm the creator of whatever this that." We all knew it was going to be Azimuth, and it was. Azimuth sounds like he's voiced by the same guy. I'm not too sure. That's obviously one of my, you know, things with this series. Like Grandpa Max sounds nothing like the original Grandpa Max, which is fine. Gwen, you know, whatever. But Tara Strong still voices Ben in this, which is like the one thing that I'm just glad they kept. But like I mentioned, Alien Force aliens are showing up in this reboot when he's a kid, so he's not getting them when he's a teen. So he's going through lots of trials in order to prove to Azimuth he can keep the Omnitrix. And then, you know, Ripjaws and Ghost Freak and all that, they're trying to stop him. Then, bada bing, bada boom, he's in trouble. He's like, finally, I know what I can do. And he does this thing where he lifts the Omnitrix up instead of pushes it down, and then it's it down. And then he gains Goop. He calls him like Buggerman or something like that. That's pretty cool because again, Goop, Alien Force Alien. All old school fans know who Goop is. There's new fans who are just like, oh, this is a new character. We're like, bro, that's Goop. It was cool to see. I do wonder if they'd ever like develop it into a teenage version. I don't think they will, just because obviously Ben 10 did amazing, Ben 10 Alien Force did great, and Season 3 people lost interest, Ultimate Alien people lost interest, the Omniverse, like practically no fans watched it. So maybe they'll just stick to a teen Ben, but maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're taking the Alien Force aliens to here in order for them to, you know, kind of keep the dynamic going so that you can see all the aliens he's had, but he doesn't have to grow up. Way big returns. Again, he always shows up for the first time in a special. Like it was the movie where he was the first time on that. I'm not complaining. Vilgax becomes like this ultimate monster thing where he's like big and red and he's massive, and then Ben's like, again, we gotta go for this, lifts the Omnitrix up instead of down, and then smacks it, becomes way big, and it looks really cool. It's really weird because like he grows and the fin on the top of his head is the last thing to grow, so he's just like a really bold guy with massive tusks to start with. But then obviously listen, I'm starting to like this, like the idea of this reboot more and more as I talk about this. Like literally, I thought I kind of enjoyed the idea anyway after watching it, but yo. Ending off the film, we're going in the rust bucket and they go across country again. The rust bucket looks fucking dreadful. That's the one thing I'll say. The rust bucket, they've updated it, looks more square, looks more blue, and I guess it's meant to be teched out, but I don't like it. Overall, yeah, it is what it is. And I know I've just bigged it up. I know I've just said like, oh my god, it's great. It's not amazing. But I feel like what I find in it is that I was a huge Ben 10 fan. When I was younger, my best mate and I, we adored Ben 10. We had the costumes, we had every Omnitrix, we would watch the show together all the time. So obviously when the reboot came out and I saw what they were doing, especially with Stinkfly and stuff like that, and just the thought that kids nowadays have to grow up on this Ben 10 really bummed me out. I mean, we got 4 seasons of him as a teenager, we got like 2 animated movies, we got 2 live action movies, we got 3 seasons, Ultimate Alien as well, and Omniverse, we had like a good like 12 or so seasons of him as a teenager, and like we could have seen him become Ben 10,000, but after he was 16 and Omniverse, they ended it and then rebooted it. We never got to see Ben 10,000. I don't know if Ben 10,000 is even a thing in this new reboot. I was just really bummed out, but after seeing this film and seeing what they're doing, I've come to realise, yeah, look, they are just making it a reboot and they're just doing their own thing, but they're still giving fan service to the old Ben 10 fans, and I feel like that's why have a new appreciation of this film specifically. I don't know so much about the series, but this film. But yeah, just overall, it is what it is. Very much a kid's movie, but I do feel like I've got a newfound respect for the new Ben 10. There's even some aspects in this new movie, in this new Ben 10, that are better than the original. Now that's, by far, it is not better than the original, but there are some things that I think, you know what, that's a pretty cool idea. They missed a beat in the original one. But that's just me. I don't like that upgrade to purple. And again, Stinkfly, what the fuck is that? I also dyed my hair green perfectly in time. Obviously, it was meant to be for Joker, for Halloween, but we can't do nothing for Halloween. Well, we couldn't do because it's past Halloween now. But yeah, I'm a bit more Ben, even though Ben never had green hair. But Ben 10's signature colour was green, so maybe I'm just a Ben 10 alien in disguise. Thank you so much for watching this video. What do you think of the new Ben 10 series, and what do you think of this new movie if you've seen it? Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon. Goodbye.